And I think I'll go ahead and close some other stuff because my computer is very tired today. Quit. Quit. On n'a pas besoin de Safari. On n'a pas besoin de Word. I should have done this in the first place, of course, but je l'ai pas fait. Nothing wants to close. Oh, a few things quit. That's good. Oh, that quit too. Good. Really, I could quit Dashlane too, but that's alright. Are you gonna empty now? No. Okay. Well, we'll just wait. He can empty whenever he wants to. Alors, je suis un peu déboussolée là. Attendez. Okay. Alors, waiting for things to open. My computer is trying to do too many things at once today. I'll go ahead and close Dashlane in case that'll help. Yes, I know. Oops. Okay, let's see if we can open it again. V-text. I was hoping to close some more stuff, but that won't work. Okay. Voila. Enfin. On the Camtasia video, I might be able to cut some of that crazy boringness at the beginning. On va voir. On va reprendre un tout petit peu le vocabulaire avant de commencer. Hein? We're going to take a few minutes to do kind of a vocab review for 6B. just to warm up a little bit, and then we'll dig in on tonight's lesson. Tonight we're doing 6B2, and voila. Everything is all set now. Thanks so much to Dr. Nikolovna and Dr. Duval, and you guys have your test that's all set up, and if you have any questions about that, text, or rather email either Dr. Duval or myself, and we'll help you with that. Thank you very much for all of your patience and forbearing, and I am feeling a lot better, and I'll be taking over everything as of next week again. So bear with us a few more days, and then hopefully the rest of the semester will be completely normal, which I know will be a welcome change. Voilà. So, if you will look at page 240 and 241 pour le vocabulaire de la leçon 6B. Très chic. There's just a couple of things that I wanted to mention here before we dig in. Attendez. Voilà. Et puis on va faire le zoom. Même si le zoom is that wacky zoom, n'est-ce pas? Mais voilà. Voilà. Très bien. Il y a seulement 2 ou 3 choses que j'allais mentionner pour le vocabulaire ici. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention that would be very different than what we say in English. And otherwise, you have a lot of cognates in clothing vocab. You also have virtually everything is used the same way. There's no crazy grammar that goes on with clothing. So there's nothing special you'll have to learn about how people talk about clothing in France versus how we talk about it. Voilà. The only thing is, it's kind of wacky, is that you'll notice over here, every time you have something that has to do with pants, in English we almost always have it in plural, whether it's underpants, shorts, jeans, slacks, pants, whatever. We always have it in plural. In French, it's always going to be in singular, and the article as well. So not jeans, but un jean, n'est-ce pas? Pants, un pantalon, n'est-ce pas? I thought we had, I think we have shorts somewhere here. Oh, le voilà. Un short, instead of shorts, n'est-ce pas? That will probably be the hardest thing to remember in clothing, aside from just memorizing the new words. So just keep that in mind for all of the things that have to do with pants. The same thing comes into play when we say the words for hose and stockings and all of that. That's not talked about as commonly anymore in English, or at least I don't think in you guys' generation as it used to be, but bear that in mind too, that even though we talk about most of the stuff that goes on legs in the plural, in French we talk about them in the singular. Now the one, couple of exceptions kind of to that are that yes, you still talk about shoes in the plural for the most part, you still talk about socks in the plural for the most part. So, voilà. Vous allez alors regarder avec moi à la page suivante. Theoretically, you've been looking at this vocab a little bit now. So if you look at exercise 1, we're going to pick the thing that doesn't go with the others. So if you have your book handy, or if you can open your vText in a separate window and pop back and forth, that should help you as we're going through this activity. You may have already done this either with the other lesson or in the class session or on your own, and that's fine too. But we're going to look at it again as well. Je vais zoomer un tout petit peu. Attendez. Voilà. Très bien. Alors, so again, look at your book if you need to get an idea about these. Vous avez des baskets, une cravate, une chaussure. Alors, qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? Des baskets, une cravate, une chaussure. Et c'est des baskets, n'est-ce pas? So pause the video if you need to as you're going through this on your own later, so that you give yourself a chance to guess it and go check in your v-text or whatever so you can get an idea. Look at all 3 items to see what they are if you need to. And that may, things like this, especially when it's kind of more cut and dried vocab, I used to anyway, when I was studying all this stuff, it just used to seem so dry, and so it can be kind of tedious. But just don't forget, every time you look that stuff up, you're going to remember it a little bit better, and chances are the next time when you see une cravate or something in an activity, you'll already remember what it is. And if you need to look it up the next time, then the time after that, you'll probably remember what it is. So don't lose heart, just keep looking things up, and little by little they'll sink in. Voilà. Alors, des baskets, ce qui ne va pas avec la cravate ou la chaussure, n'est-ce pas? Pour numéro 2, vous avez un jean, un pantalon, une jupe. Un jean, un pantalon, une jupe. Qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? Un jean, n'est-ce pas? Oh, pardon, une jupe, qu'est-ce que je dis? Une jupe, n'est-ce pas? Alors, un jean, un pantalon sont tous les deux des pantalons, pour ainsi dire, oui. Alors, une jupe ne va pas avec les 2 autres. Pour numéro 3, vous avez un tailleur, un costume, un short. N'est-ce pas? Un tailleur, un costume, un short. Qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? Alors, un short, n'est-ce pas? C'est un short qui ne va pas avec les 2 autres. Un tailleur, un costume, c'est quasiment la même chose, mais un tailleur, c'est pour les femmes, tandis que le costume, c'est pour les hommes, n'est-ce pas? Costume is a big, huge false cognate, right? So, try to remember, it's a man's suit. Un tailleur, a women's suit. Even if it's got pants, it could be skirt or pants, it would still be un tailleur, since women wear it. Now, if you had an actual men's suit that a woman was wearing, that would still be a costume. So we're talking suits that are made for women, whether it's pantsuits or skirt suits or whatever. Numéro 4. Des lunettes, un chemisier, une chemise. Des lunettes, un chemisier, une chemise. Qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? Des lunettes. Voilà, des lunettes qui ne va pas avec les autres. Alors, un chemisier, une chemise, c'est un peu comme l'autre. Ce sont tous les deux quasiment la même chose. Un chemisier pour les femmes, une chemise pour les hommes. N'est-ce pas? So you can think of a chemise as a shirt and a chemisier as a blouse if you want to. Or you can translate chemisier as shirt, but if you're female and you're just wearing like a man-style button-down or something, that would still be a chemise. So in this case, you're going to have a little more crossover than you might with tailleur and costume. But, voilà. There's no reason to make them any more complicated than they are now. So if you want to make it simple on yourself, just remember blouse versus shirt. Un chemisier, une chemise. D'accord? Un t-shirt, un pull, un anorak. Un t-shirt, un pull, un anorak. D'accord? Alors pour moi, je pense que il y a 2 possibilités différentes. I think what they really want us to say is an anorak. I'm gonna cheat and look at my book. Because I really do think there are 2 different possibilities here. Oh, they wanted us to say, see, they went the other direction. For me, an anorak was the first thing to come to mind. Do you know why? So what are each of these things? Un t-shirt, that's pretty easy. T-shirt. Un pull. Vous vous souvenez de ce que c'est qu'un pull? Alors, un pull is a sweater, usually a pullover sweater. So un pull, ça vient d'un pullover, which is what we used to say way back when. Attendez, Julia. Voilà, un pullover. And now you will still hear people say un pullover once in a while, but usually it's un pull, et c'est tout. For me, an anorak was the thing that didn't go, because what's an anorak? An anorak. An anorak is a jacket, like a ski jacket. You can use parka kind of interchangeably with, rather, you can think of an anorak as a parka. Alors voilà. So for me, it would be the coat that wouldn't go with the other two. But if you chose t-shirt, then your rationale might be that the t-shirt is more for warm weather and the other two are for colder weather. So I think both would be, either one would be true, would be correct, that is, depending on how you're approaching the question. So if you were thinking like me and thought un anorak n'allait pas avec les autres, alors c'est bon. Et sinon, vous avez peut-être choisi un t-shirt. A pull is the only one that probably, there's no reason to pull that out of the group. So it's either going to go with one or the other. Numéro 6. Une casquette, une ceinture, un chapeau. Une casquette, une ceinture, un chapeau. I just all of a sudden had a weird non-memory. Oh, I already knew that was working. Okay. Sorry. For some reason I couldn't remember turning on Camtasia. But then it dawned on me, if I have the little red box up here, Camtasia's working, but I forgot to look at that. Alors, numéro 6 encore une fois, une casquette, une ceinture, un chapeau. Qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? La ceinture, n'est-ce pas? Alors, la casquette is like a baseball cap, d'accord? Un chapeau is kind of a generic word for a hat, so you have lots of different things that can be called chapeau. A casquette is a chapeau aussi, n'est-ce pas? Une casquette, c'est une sorte de chapeau spécifique, quoi. Ceinture is a belt, n'est-ce pas? Numéro 7, un sous-vêtement, une chaussette, un sac à main. Now, I will tell you, nobody ever says this word sous-vêtement. It's kind of like us saying underclothes. You know, your mom or your grandma might say underclothes, but, you know, we don't usually use it every day. Sous-vêtement is not necessarily something you would use in common conversation. If you went into a store and you were trying to find the area where the underclothes were sold, you might say sous-vêtement. But don't very often use this word when you're talking about your own clothing. Usually use the specific words, so un slip, un soutien-gorge ou quoi que ce soit. Et puis un caleçon, quoi. Alors voilà. Un sous-vêtement, une chaussette, un sac à main. Alors qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? C'est le sac à main, n'est-ce pas? Sous-vêtement, we just talked about, underclothes of some sort. Une chaussette is also some kind of clothing, so sock, une chaussette. Tandis qu'un sac à main, on ne porte pas les sacs à main. Normalement, n'est-ce pas? So sac à main is the only thing here that you wouldn't actually put on as a piece of clothing. Numéro 8, une jupe, une robe, une écharpe. Une jupe, une robe, une écharpe. Qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? L'écharpe, n'est-ce pas? Une écharpe is a scarf. There's another word for scarf that I don't think we have in our list, but I'll go ahead and tell you. C'est un foulard. Une écharpe is a scarf when you're trying to keep warm. Un foulard would be a scarf that you would buy for decoration. So if somebody buys a silk Hermès scarf or something, that's a foulard. Tandis qu'une écharpe, c'est pour se chauffer, n'est-ce pas? So if you have some kind of a winter muffler, that would qualify as an écharpe. Voilà. Tandis qu'un foulard, c'est essentiellement pour se faire beau, n'est-ce pas? Pour se décorer, quoi. Voilà. Très bien. So that gives us a little bit of a warm-up and a little bit of review on the vocab. And at the end, what we're going to do is another one of these orals, which Dr. Davidson and Dr. Duvall and I finished the test the other day, and the audio recordings that you're going to have on that are the ones that I made. So it's still good for you to practice with some of the videos that I've posted in the class videos. So that, or rather, some of the recordings, I mean, that I've posted in the class videos. Usually they're right at the end of the lesson, so that you can kind of get used to my voice, or keep getting used to my voice. And then this one too, since I'm going to try to remember to put it right at the end, so that if you like, you can come back and work on exercise 2 with my doing the audio. So we'll do that at the end. Et maintenant, on va regarder les verbes RE. I forgot what I was doing for a second. There we go. So if anybody comes in, please yell, because I won't be able to see you since the panel is hiding. So I'll try to remember to check every so often too. So we've already seen infinitives that end in ER and IR, and this is probably a good time to tell you that usually I give you tips as to things that are good review for whatever we're going to do currently, right? There's not anything that you can go back and review in preparation for the REs, but it is a good idea to go back and look at your other verbs just to get them straight in your head before jumping in on the REs. So this is a good time to go back and look at the ERs and look at your IRs and to look at a lot of your key and your key irregulars to kind of dust them off before looking at this new group of verbs. You're really looking at about 3 different groups of verbs when we talk about the REs, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. But anyway, it's a really good time to go back and look at your ERs, look at your IRs, get those firmly in your head again, look at a lot of your key irregulars. So, of course, the main 4, avoir, être, aller, faire. Et puis, vous en avez beaucoup d'autres maintenant aussi, n'est-ce pas? You have a lot of others also nowadays. So, pull up anything and everything that you have irregular verb-wise and go ahead and review those a little bit before jumping in on this stuff, or as you jump in on this stuff, just to keep those as straight in your mind as you possibly can as we look at these new verbs, okay? At all. Now we're looking at REs, and you'll see this is a couple or 3 different patterns that we'll find here. So many REs are considered regular. One of the main ones is attendre, and there are a lot of verbs that are conjugated just like attendre, and again, these are considered regular REs. These are a bigger group than the other groups, and it's a little bit easier to remember the conjugation. It's a little bit easier to remember the past participle than it is with the irregulars, or what we call the irregular REs. So, voilà. Pour regarder un tout petit peu le la prononciation, qu'est-ce que je dis? La prononciation. So this too, we're going to practice on text in a few minutes, and I'll show you again that text always gives you those sound bites so that you can remember the pronunciation of various verb forms, right? Especially irregulars, but they do them for the main verb groups also, the ERs, IRs, and REs. They're so-called regular ERs, IRs, and REs. So you can use those. You can also just use the audio that we're going to make here in a second. So as you're listening to this at home later, pause and keep practicing the word a couple more times after I say it, and get used to hearing it that way. Alors, just like with lots of other words that we've had, if I don't have a vowel after my consonants, right, I'm not going to sit on my consonants, right? I have an N there, so this whole thing is going to come into a negative, I can't talk today, a nasal, right? So my nasal is encompassing everything. It doesn't matter if there's a D, it doesn't matter if there's an S, it doesn't matter if there's no S here. These all 3 are going to sound exactly the same. D'accord? Alors, j'attends, j'attends, tu attends, tu attends, il attend, il attend. D'accord? Over here, I have vowels and sometimes entire syllables after my D. So I'm going to hear my D. Here, I'm still not pronouncing my ENT, right? But the E is acting as an E muet, and it's making me pronounce this D. D'accord? So this is the same difference as when, and I don't think I underlined this the last time we played with this kind of a pronunciation question, so I just want to underline it a little bit this time. J'ai quelque chose comme, par exemple, il attend, right? Just like maintenant, right? This isn't a verb. You should recognize this is one of your time adverbs, meaning now, right? I don't have anything coming afterwards, so my nasal is just sitting there. Maintenant, il attend, right? Same exact sound. The D and the T don't make any difference. D'accord? Then, by the same token, if I have an E muet, which is basically what I'm doing by having my ENT here, I'm going to pronounce my D. And the same thing happens when I have, oh, see now, I just forgot to think of an example before we looked at this. Et ben, par exemple, américaine. D'accord? So, américaine, I'm pronouncing my N because I have an O muet. I'm pronouncing this because I have an O muet. N'est-ce pas? Ils attendent américaine. D'accord? So, pretend these ENTs are the same as an O muet. D'accord? All I'm doing is letting it make me pronounce this a little bit differently. It's not doing anything else. I'm still not pronouncing my ENT, but my ENT is taking the role of an O muet in this case. So we look at these again. Nous attendons. Vous attendez. Of course, I'm pronouncing those because we never have those silent, right? And then the last one, ils attendent. And I'm pronouncing my D because of my fake O muet here in the third person plural ending. D'accord? Encore une fois, j'attends. Tu attends. Il attend. Nous attendons, vous attendez, ils attendent. D'accord? And again, pause it between each time if you're practicing with that so that you have time to repeat it a couple times to yourself. Et they have a couple of other examples down here of how to use these. Of course, anything that you do with these is going to be exactly the same as what you did before. So here I have inversion. No big deal. I'm still going to invert the normal way. I don't have a negative here for you, but if there were a negative, it would work exactly the same way as you've done with all the other verbs so far. And here you have attendre in an infinitive structure, which you guys have a lot of infinitive structures under your belt now, right? That you can call upon. So verbs of preference, aller plus the infinitive. I was going to say venir de, but that's not till next semester. Falloir, faut, il faut attendre, etc. N'est-ce pas? So all of these cases, the regular RE is going to act exactly the same. There's no difference in using it versus how you've used other verbs that we've had before. Alors, attendre means to wait or to wait for. It doesn't need a preposition when you use it in a sentence. So usually I say something like, oh, who are you waiting for? I'm waiting for Donna, I'm waiting for Bill, I'm waiting for the cat, or whatever. But in this case, attendre already has that built into the sentence, or built into its meaning. D'accord? Donc, attend le bus. Ils attendent Robert. D'accord? Il attend ses parents. He's waiting for his parents. J'attends les soldes. I'm waiting for the sales, etc. Okay? So you can actually translate it as to await also. So that's another way to think of it especially if the preposition poses any kind of confusion for you. So no preposition with this. It already means either to wait or to wait for. And you may think, well, why do they even mention to wait then? It's because if I want to, I'm going to take these out now. Oh, I can take that one out. We've talked a lot about verbs that definitely have to have a direct object and things like that, where we couldn't just end the sentence after the verb. But in this case, I can. Il attend. What's he doing? He's waiting. And I could in turn say, what is he waiting for? And I can say, il attend, je sais pas, il attend le week-end. N'est-ce pas? Oh, qu'est-ce que je fais là? I did it again. Craziness. Oh là là, Suzanne. Voilà. So either way, it's a complete sentence. And you don't have too many verbs that do that. Normally, we either have to have a direct object with it, or we can't have a direct object with it, or whatever. And this is one that you can go either way. And il y a rien de plus simple. Voilà. On y va. Okay. Other so-called regular RE verbs. And these again are going to be conjugated exactly what we did, exactly how we conjugated the last one. There are a couple of differences just because some of these need something extra. Rendre needs a, rendre visite needs a, répondre needs a, etc. So we'll see some examples for these. Descendre, entendre, perdre, rendre, rendre visite, répondre, vendre. D'accord? And all of these are conjugated just like attendre. Okay? Now, the reason you have the ahs and like this sont is because there are a couple of other possibilities that you can use with some of these to make them express even more. Okay? And the reason they have these in parentheses, especially these three, perdre and perdre son temps are two different things. I can say to waste. And actually, I wanted to mention, perdre doesn't only mean to waste, it also means to lose. Okay? So, and honestly, that's usually the default meaning. So it depends on context as whether you could call it to waste or to lose. Okay? So somebody says, oh, j'ai perdu mes clés. Of course, they lost their keys, right? But if they say, oh, on a perdu notre temps à faire je sais pas quoi, then, it may mean the other. But the default meaning really is to lose. And this is the only book I've ever known that did this before. But just think about it as to lose also, not just to waste. And so the other thing I was going to mention was the ones over here, rendre à, rendre visite à, etc. Répondre, par exemple. Sometimes you're going to need the ah and sometimes you aren't. Now with rendre visite, you're almost always going to need the ah. Okay? Rendre here, I'm only going to need the ah if I'm talking about who I'm giving something back to. Same thing here. I'm going to say répondre à quelqu'un ou à une question, but I could just say répondre without anything coming after it too. So that's why they have these in parentheses. The son temps over here, you're not always going to have son temps with this. It's only when you want to say that somebody's wasting their time, right? So I've had a few emails where people didn't quite understand what the parentheses treatment meant. So that basically is what it means. You don't necessarily need to use it that way. To form the past participle of regular RE verbs, drop the RE and change it to you. This is always, 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 always going to work with regular REs. And it's really important that you keep these verbs separate from the REs that we're going to look at in a little bit, because not only are all the conjugations different, but this past participle formation is entirely different. So with the standard or regular REs, you're just changing it to you. At the end, you're dropping the RE, adding you, or you can think of it as changing the RE to you if you like, whichever way is going to help you remember it better. And then you're done. So, les étudiants ont vendu leurs livres. D'accord? J'ai répondu à ton email. Il a entendu arriver la voiture de sa femme. D'accord? Nous avons perdu patience. D'accord? So just add the you. And what do you also notice with these? What are they using for passé composé? Do you know? Are they using être ou avoir? Avoir for all of these, right? By and large, the vast majority of your REs, the regulars and the irregulars, are going to take avoir. Now, there are a couple with which you will need être, so we will see those. And there are even a couple where you could use one or the other, so depending on what you're trying to say. So if in doubt, you're safer using avoir, but if you focus on what they mean, that should help you also when you're trying to remember whether to use avoir ou être with these for passé composé. So, voilà. Some verbs whose infinitives end in re are irregular. So we looked at all these regular ones, right? Let's go back and look at the list. And don't forget, attendre is on this list also, right? Attendre, descendre, entendre, perdre, rendre visite, répondre, vendre. D'accord? So keep looking those over as you move on. Now we have a second and third, honestly, pattern for REs. These are different. These are what we call irregular REs, and there's another group of them too. So these, you will see verbs that work like, actually, let me look ahead just really quickly. Oh, okay. I couldn't remember how they were going to do these, and then I remembered. these are the 3 remaining patterns that you're going to see for the REs. So all of the irregular REs are going to fit into one of these patterns. Okay, so conduire is your first pattern. Okay, mettre is your next pattern, and rire is your next pattern. Now you might think that rire and conduire are the same pattern, except look down here. Here I'm keeping my S, right? And over here I'm not. D'accord? So you're going to have a few verbs that act like rire, you're going to have a few verbs that act like mettre, and you're going to have a few verbs that act like conduire. Okay? And the best thing to do is to review these patterns enough so that you can kind of move on to the other verbs in that particular pattern, in that group, and then practice them as well, and try to really lump those verbs together in your heads. Okay? And I've said this before, I'll keep saying it, the best way to cement all of this stuff is by making your own sentences with it. Okay? You will get a lot of practice with the WebSam, of course, but one really good extra step to do on your own would be to just write sentences and have them be complete sentences. So, verb, subject, direct object, or some kind of context that makes you create a little bit with the language. And if you do that, those sentences are going to help you clinch these verbs better than just, certainly better than just repeating them to yourselves or writing them over and over or anything like that. That stuff is something that your head will think is working but isn't really working. But work on the WebSam, and then if you can, go ahead and make some original sentences with all of the verbs and make sure they're logical. And if you can, make the rest of the sentence something that will kind of help you remember what the verb means. That's not necessary, but that will still help you remember it better than just memorizing them or going over them over and over and over with them, etc. Alors, conduire, to drive, mettre, to put or to put on. Okay, so as in mettre, I'm putting something on the table, je mets le zapper sur la table, par exemple. Or if you're putting on clothing, je vais mettre mon pull vert, par exemple. Je vais mettre mes tennis noirs, je sais pas quoi. And then rire, to laugh. And let's look at the pronunciation. Conduire, je conduis, tu conduis, il conduit. Same pronunciation for all 3, right? Nous conduisons, vous conduisez, ils conduisent. The same thing that we said with attendre. I have my ENT here that's making me sit on the S and making me pronounce it. So pretend it's an muet. I'm still not pronouncing the ending, but it is making me pronounce this S. D'accord? Encore une fois, je conduis, tu conduis, il conduit, nous conduisons, vous conduisez, ils conduisent. D'accord? Mettre, je mets, tu mets, il met. So again, same exact pronunciation for all 3 of the singulars. Nous mettons, vous mettez, ils mettent. Nous mettons, vous mettez, ils mettent. So here, I have the ENT that's making me pronounce the T's, certainly, but also the fact that I have a double T. As soon as I have a double T, I'm going to pronounce it, right? Alors, voilà. And again, I have all 3 of the singulars sounding exactly the same. Rire, je ris, tu ris, il rit, nous rions, vous riez, il rit. D'accord? So this one follows the boot. If we wrote out our boot, remember the 3x3 format, you would have these 3 and the third person plural sounding exactly the same, right? Ri, 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 ri. And here, I'm still saying ri. They look funny, right? But just still follow your pronunciation. Ri, on. So I have my ending there, even though I've only got this little tiny thing to pronounce beforehand. Rions, riez. D'accord? Et on continue. So, other verbs that are going to be conjugated just like conduire, construire, détruire, produire, réduire, traduire. D'accord? All of these are going to be conjugated just like conduire. Alors, je construis, tu détruis, nous produisons, vous réduisez, etc. Pour mettre, things that are conjugated like mettre, permettre, promettre. D'accord? Those are both pretty strong cognates. In fact, you have some pretty strong cognates over here too, right? Rire, the main one, sourire. So, to smile. Je souris, tu souris, nous sourions, vous souriez, etc. D'accord? So with all of these, go back and look at conduire and reconjugate these to kind of get them in your heads as well. Alors, and again, if you want to create original sentences with them, that'll help you clench it even further. The past participle of mettre is me. So the past participle of verbs that are conjugated like mettre are going to be the same pattern, right? So the same thing's going to happen with conduire and its friends, and sourire, or rather rire and its friends, okay? So permis, promis. And you'll have other verbs that come down the road later that have mettre on the end, okay? And they're going to do the same thing. The conjugations are going to follow mettre, and the past participle is going to follow mettre. So permettre, permis, promettre, promis. Okay, and notice that we're using avoir with all of these. Using avoir with mettre, permettre, and promettre. Now that's one thing that doesn't always follow suit, okay? The majority of the time, if you have a root verb that takes avoir or être and you have other verbs that are built on it and you're not sure what to do, you're usually safest using the same verb for passé composé, but not all the time. Okay, so most of the time, though, that is something you can depend on. Alors, le past participle of conduire is conduit, and all of the verbs that we looked at a minute ago, that we saw on that list, that act like conduire for conjugation, then your past participle, is going to follow suit also. So construit, détruit, produit, réduit, traduit. D'accord? Same thing then for rire and sourire. The past participle is ri. This is going to be one of the wackiest ones. When you conjugate this the first few times in passé composé, I guarantee you're going to think you're doing it wrong, because it just looks so weird, right? But just trust your rule. Keep checking back, making sure that you're following directions or anything, and little by little it'll look more natural. And then sourire, which is conjugated just like rire, and now my past participle is going to do the same thing. Drop the re, and it's just souris. D'accord? Et c'est la fin. Alors, on va pratiquer un tout petit peu. Attendez, 253. And we're going to look at the essay. So this is just straight up conjugating, right? Just look at your verb forms. If you need to pull up your v-text as we go through this to remind yourself which verb is going to do what, then please do that. And we're just conjugating everything in present, au présent. Et on y va. Attendez. Ah non, ça va. So this is mixing all of them, pretty much. You have your irregular REs and some of the irregulars, right? Oh. Alors, pour numéro 1, again, as you're watching this, if you're watching this later on the video, be sure and pause as we go. I'm going to put this over here, so if somebody comes, I'll be able to see. Pause between to give yourself a chance to figure out what the answer is. Pour numéro 1, il, pluriel, attendre l'arrivée du train. So again, pause it if you need to. Oh, pardon. Voilà. Ils attendent l'arrivée du train. Pardon. Numéro 2, nous, répondre aux questions du professeur. So this is another regular. Répondons. D'accord? Numéro 3, je, sourire quand je suis heureuse. Je souris quand je suis heureuse. D'accord? Numéro 4, si on. Celui-là, c'est... Je vais faire que ça soit plus grand. Attendez. I'll have to push this a little bit so we can see the whole thing. Oh, I forgot to turn off my phone. Sorry. Ok, numéro 4. Si on construit trop, on... Why can't I seem to get this to drag today? Oh, there we go. I don't know why I wasn't. Okay. On détruit la nature. Quand il fait froid, vous mettez un pull. Numéro 6. Est-ce que les étudiants entendent le professeur? Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire entendre? What's entendre mean again? To hear, d'accord? To hear. So, écouter is totally different, don't forget. Entendre. Numéro 7. Keiko. Oh, I was typing. Oh, there it is. That's weird. Keiko conduit sa voiture ce week-end. D'accord? Numéro 8. Quand le café n'est pas bon, je mets du sucre. Très bien. D'accord? Ça va? Alors, si vous avez des questions quelconques, quand vous êtes en train de regarder ça plus tard, nobody's here, so you guys can't ask questions right now, but if you have questions on it later, be sure and look at your whole sentence. You're not having to choose between any other verbs or anything this time, but especially on the WebSam ones, just be sure and look at your whole sentence if you're having any trouble picking out what the correct verb is. You guys have a tendency to want it to just kind of jump into your head, and if it doesn't, sometimes students get a little discouraged. That's not going to happen very often right at the beginning, where it's just going to jump in your head. You're going to need to read the whole sentence and really parse it out and figure out what's the most correct verb contextually, which verb has to do with the rest of the sentence. Really think about what the rest of the sentence means. And I know that sounds like a lot of work for one single question on an online workbook activity. But the more you do that, the more you're going to remember all of your vocab, not just the verbs that we're working on right now, but it'll help you clinch all the other vocab that we do also. And it's going to help your reading comprehension in the long run too. So just keep working at it. I know it's really tedious, but really look at the whole sentence, really try to figure out what verb's going to be the most correct and all that stuff. That sounds like it's really obvious, but I know when you guys are hurrying through these activities, it doesn't feel obvious at that point, right? you just want it to pop in your head and be done with it. So try not to do that. Try to really look at the whole sentence and figure out exactly what is it trying to say and choose the right verb accordingly, or the right vocab. Voilà. Oui, on va quitter. Voilà, c'est très bien. Alors, ce que je voulais faire aussi, c'est de regarder un peu text. I didn't pull up the regular REs yet. Here we go. So, my caveat that I always have with text still stands. They are often going to have slightly different verbs than what we've looked at so far. Even here, they have a couple here that we don't have in our list. Try not to let those stress you out. You could add them to your list, and you'd have even more verbs under your belt if you want. You can ignore them if you'd rather. That's absolutely fine too. But don't let them stress you out. You are going to see verbs here and on other sites that we use occasionally where it's a verb that we haven't looked at yet. So don't let it throw you. And use it or don't use it, and just go on with the other verbs if you want to. And this gives you a nice little review of what we just talked about. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, pardon. Okay. And I don't think that we're going to talk about passé composé here. So, and as I keep saying also, whenever you have new verbs or new conjugations or irregular verbs, text has a nice little audio bite for you here so that you can remind yourself of the pronunciation. So if you need to, go ahead and play those. If you need to refresh your memory, go to text and you can practice that with all of the different kinds of verbs that we do. Regardons l'exercice ensemble. Some of these, I just want to look quickly and see if there's anything that we need to do in past tense. Nope. Okay. So these are all in present. Je vais le remplir encore. If anybody comes to the class, please yell. I'll keep trying to remember to look at the little thing to make sure nobody's there. And voilà. Alors, vendre. And as we look at each of these, you're not having to choose the verb, but stop and ask yourself what the verb means. Remind yourself. And again, some of the vocab in these sentences is going to be vocab that's a little bit ahead of us. Some of it will be vocab that you've had a long time ago. So don't let that throw you either. Excuse me. Okay. Pour numéro 1, Cory. Vendre. What's vendre mean? To sell. Alors, Cory vend son vélo pour avoir de l'argent. D'accord? Fiona, tu entends la musique? Again, pause if you need to give yourself a chance to quiz yourself, to give yourself a chance to guess these before we go on. Jobob. Jobob demande au prof, est-ce que vous rendez nos examens aujourd'hui? Numéro 4. Tex. Pardon. Descend la rue Guadeloupe. He's coming down the street, coming down Guadeloupe Street. Jobob et Cory perdent souvent leurs devoirs, n'est-ce pas? Tex et Tammy vont. So look at this one carefully. What do you already have here? What is vont? It's a totally different verb, isn't it? What verb is it coming from? Aller. D'accord? What happens when I put aller with another verb? The second verb stays in the infinitive, right? Another way to look at that is that I'm never going to have more than one conjugated verb, more than one active verb per idea. D'accord? So I've already have a conjugated verb here. What am I going to do with rendre? I'm going to leave it in the infinitive, n'est-ce pas? Alors, ils vont rendre visite à Bobo. Okay? So be on the lookout for that kind of thing too, and that will help you remember when you're using them that way, that you only are going to conjugate one of the two, n'est-ce pas? Tex. J'attends. Oh, pardon. Mes étudiants à Quacks. Alors, Cory à Tex. Nous rendons visite à Jobob. Tu viens? Numéro 9. Jobob et Cory. Nous attendons le week-end avec impatience. Okay? That gives us a little bit of an example. There are only a few more, so we're going to stop there. And we're going to go ahead and look at the next ones. Oh, we're not doing prendre yet. We are doing these, though. So mettre and all of the things that act like mettre. Okay? And here, too, they got a couple of other verbs that go with mettre, right? We learned admettre, agent. We learned mettre, permettre, and promettre. Now you have a couple of others. Admettre, that's another cognate, right? Remettre isn't exactly a cognate, but the re is something, usually as Anglophiles, or Anglophones, we're pretty good at figuring out what re is. You can put re in front of almost every verb in the whole world, and it means to do it again, or in this case, it is changing the verb to a greater extent than usual. But remettre, admettre, permettre, promettre, n'est-ce pas? I have to wipe my nose. I actually don't have a cold or anything, but something is making me a little allergy this evening. I don't know what. Voilà. So we're just going to do a few of these because we're running out of time a little bit. Joe Bob met le réveil, n'est-ce pas? Tammy texts, tu mets la table pour dîner? So I think I mentioned that that means to set, you can use it for setting the table. If I didn't, then that's a specific phrase. Mettre la table means to set the table. And you always use mettre in that case. Rita dit à ses enfants. So what do you need in this case? Who's she talking to? She's talking to her kids, oui? And if you think of our pronoun chart, what pronoun would you be aiming at with this sentence then? You have a big clue here. Vous, n'est-ce pas? But I don't have vous in the sentence, so do you remember what that means? We're just using an imperative, a command form, right? So I'm going to start the sentence, with my imperative. Mettez vos pulls, and that's all I need. Les étudiants de texte, nous promettons de faire nos devoirs. Joe, Bob et Cory mettent leur Santiago pour aller danser. Cory, je... I think this one's... I forgot about this one. This one's really wacky. Je n'admets pas d'aller des pesticides. That's kind of an old joke. Anyway, Tammy et Fiona ne remettent pas, jamais, pardon, leur devoir en retard. D'accord? So that gives you also a good idea. And again, you have your sound bites up here so that you can listen to mettre, and then you can listen to the other examples of infinitives that are working like mettre. D'accord? And later when we do prendre or whatever, you'll still have sound bites for all of those too. So just don't forget the text has that. It's a great place to come and just remind yourself how to pronounce some of these. D'accord? So I'm going to let you go ahead with your WebSam because I do want to do that audio activity now at the end of the video. I'm not pulling up the right thing. So hold on. Voilà. So again, we're doing the audio activity 2. Écoutez à la page 241. So if you need to, pull that up in your WebSam, in your vText or in your hard copy book or whatever book you have. And you can go to the WebSam and do it instead if you'd rather. I'm just going to keep it here on this page for us. And it's a pretty short audio passage this time. So, as usual, look at your cues first and read through them to yourselves, and even really pronouncing them yourself, either under your breath if you need to, or out loud or whatever, just so that you're ready to listen for whatever you need to listen for, because that is going to prep your ear and your head for what you may or may not hear in the activity, okay, or in the passage. So, vous avez les indices. Guillaume prépare ses vacances d'hiver. Indiquez quel vêtement il va acheter pour son voyage. Guillaume's getting ready for his vacation. What clothes is he going to buy for his trip? Okay? Now, a lot of these are mentioned, but he's not necessarily getting them. So when you listen to each one, really try to pay attention to the context. Is he just mentioning it, or is he really going to buy it? Okay? And you're going to hear the passage. Oh, well, I forgot. We're on the recording anyway. So I'll just do it once, but you can play it as many times as you want to after that, so that you can really try to clinch it. Okay? And again, on the test, I'm not going to speak quite this quickly. On these, I'm always going to go almost regular speed, almost natural speed, just because I think it's a good thing for you guys to kind of reach for. But as you're going through this, you can, of course, pause between sentences and get your bearings and review and repeat it as many times as you want to. I do believe, let me just double check. Oh, I was hoping they were going to mention them in the same order that you have them there, but they don't, okay? So they don't mention them in the same order you have them there, so just be careful. And I guess just for a little extra practice, let's go ahead and go through the list of things that you are listening for so that you have a good model here on the recording for them. Des baskets, un maillot de bain, des chemises, un pantalon noir, un manteau, un anorak, un jean, un short, un pull, une robe. D'accord? So review those again if you need to get them really firmly in your head before you listen to the passage. Et on y va. Bonjour, je m'appelle Guillaume. Je vais aller en Suisse pour mes vacances d'hiver. J'ai besoin d'acheter un manteau parce qu'il va faire froid. J'ai déjà acheté un pull gris. J'ai aussi un bel anorak bleu qui est un peu vieux mais chaud. Pour faire des randonnées, j'ai besoin d'un jean et de nouvelles baskets. Pour aller en boîte, je vais acheter un pantalon noir qui va aller avec toutes mes chemises. J'ai des chemises de toutes les couleurs, des chemises à manches longues, à manches courtes. Bien sûr, je ne vais pas avoir besoin d'un short parce qu'il ne va pas faire chaud. Fin. D'accord? So, keep working on your web sound and everything as you're starting to approach the test. Be sure and email myself or Dr. Davidson if you have any questions. Dr. Duvall, if you have any questions. And I will be back on track as of Monday. So yay. And here's to our having a super smooth rest of the semester. And bon courage pour l'examen. Et voilà. Just take your time as you're getting ready and take lots of breaks. Make sure that you're getting lots of rest. I know cramming is always a big temptation, but they're right when they say it doesn't really work. And if you have other stuff to study too, then honestly the best thing is to break it up. Do a couple hours of French, a couple hours of something else, or even less of a block if you want to. Because your head is going to keep processing all that stuff in between. Nobody ever believes us when we say this, but it's true. So, try to not tell yourself, oh, I've got to do, 8 hours in a row of French, because that will be counterproductive. Your head's going to get tired and it's going to stop absorbing. So really break it up somehow, whether it's with other activities or whether it's with other things you have to study or whatever, and really try to do manageable bits at a time so that you can absorb everything you're looking at. And then when you go back to it, you're going to find that you're more refreshed and you've retained more than if you just try to, plow through it in some kind of mondo studying session. So, voila. Also, don't forget that since most of you are needing to go ahead to 2001, 2002, you're looking at long-term retention being pretty important too, not just retention long enough for the test to be done, right? So the better you root all of the stuff that we're currently doing, the better it'll serve you for the next year or so. So you don't want to have to keep going back and reviewing stuff because you didn't study it that well the first time. So there, okay. Prenez votre temps, soignez-vous, reposez-vous, etc., etc. Et ne vous inquiétez pas. Et voilà, bon courage, salut!
Recording stopped.